Hey guys, I'm not going to pre-order FM24. I'm pretty sure that makes me almost completely unique in terms of Football Manager content creators, if I dare call myself that. But I'm not going to pre-order it. And I'll tell you the reason why here in a second, actually. But first, I want to give you sort of an idea of how long I've been playing FM23. So we go over here and look at the screen. This is just the current save, right? Game time, 11 days, 14 hours, 35 minutes, which I know for most of you is totally like, newbie type numbers. But, it's somewhat significant for me. I've talked about it before. I try to limit the amount of time that I play. Sometimes I'm able to. Sometimes it's harder. It's much harder when we're dealing with long transfer windows or like periods of 3 months in game where there's nothing happening. If that happens, then, I'll go over here. You go over to preferences and you change this from full screen over to the windowed mode, and then you can play while you're doing other stuff. That's a little bit more manageable. I prefer not to do that, right? But sometimes you kind of have to just because of the way the game's designed. It would be nicer if I had a computer that had much better single threading and all this other stuff, but I have a pretty big Christmas wish list just like everybody else. Dedication factor, I am now a Football Manager expert, so please pay attention to what I have to say. And you can see all of these nations that we have loaded. We've loaded every single thing that's up here, and every team is manageable, which is insane. But it's a lot of fun, and it does work, even though it's not a supercomputer by any means. Right. So that sort of gives you an idea here of what is happening and when I order the game. The reason why I bring this up is, and if you remember this, I actually ordered this game, I think it was in late January, so it was before the final transfer update had come out. I bring all of this up, though, to say that my experience with Sports Interactive and with Football Manager is that you really, really don't want to like abandon your current save in favor of a beta save or in favor of like just starting off with the new version as soon as it comes out, right? My experience has been that the beta version of the game is fun and playable, but also will have some hilariously crazy errors, or will have some issues with imbalance and other similar problems. And so if you want to play Football Manager and have like a really good experience, and not have the game like glitch out and crash on you at random times and not have, problems where, it's just not realistic at all, or you're getting, what was it this year? People were upset because the defenders weren't getting back fast enough or whatever, and the balls were played over their head all the time. And they were like, this just isn't right, doesn't feel right and stuff like that. If you're upset about that, you want to wait, all right? Don't buy the game right away. Don't go onto the message boards and start like yelling at people. Don't feel really upset about everything and get into, the normal consumer upset / entitlement mode where, you're so awfully upset that the company didn't make a perfect product for you, because they never have, and, nothing will ever be right in the world and stuff. Save yourself the mental anguish. Don't touch that at all. Instead, what I recommend doing is do not buy the beta and do not buy the game as soon as it comes out, right? So if you go into like the gaming world in general, you know what it is I'm talking about, right? Because there are a lot of guys out there who will say, hey, if we want to create some sort of difference in the world of gaming, especially AAA gaming, we need to stop ordering pre-orders, right? We need to stop pre-ordering games that haven't been released yet and giving companies basically interest-free loans, until they finally get the product right. And then we're like, oh, we're so happy that we bought it, at whatever crazy amount it was, right? Instead of waiting a little bit for something to be a little bit more complete and enjoying ourselves and actually having a good experience, right? I know that it's important for the company. I know that I'm doing no favors to myself. This channel, of course, not sponsored by anybody. We're way too small to even consider any of that stuff. But what I'm telling you is, for the sake of yourself as a computer or as a consumer, and for the sake of your own sanity, just don't do it. If you have a save that's going on and FM24 comes out, keep your FM23 save going. Like, keep it up, right? As far as I'm concerned, I think that the ideal time to buy the game is after the final update comes out. This year, it was 23.5 because the Chinese transfer window was a little bit later in the season than it had been before. I don't know if going forward, if it's going to continue to be later in the season or not. I would sort of assume that that's going to be the case. So yeah, you want to wait until you know that the final update, including the final match engine and the final transfer update, has come out before doing this. you will notice that some of the better add-ons will wait to come out until they're released, right? Most notable of which, and I haven't actually talked about it yet, I've been planning on, is World Super League, which was released just like a week and a half ago, I think, on FM Scout, right? I mean, Darth Furion, who creates that, does an exceptionally good job on it. It's, I believe, the best of all of the like complete replacement mods you can get for a Football Manager. But it usually comes out late in the season because he takes a lot of time to test it, to work out any bugs, and to try to get it working, right? I mean, that's the thing. You know, if you're going to play with like a major mod or something, you really want to wait as long as you can before getting into it and wait for a lot of the major bugs to be fixed. Dave INCID, for example, he'll come out with stuff like every month. I've talked about him a lot here, right? His stuff is absolutely amazing and you should support him. But Dave INCID, like, the best stuff that he comes out with will come out later in the cycle of the game, not at the very beginning with the beta and all that stuff, right? I would imagine that for him, he's spending a lot of time trying to fix the stupid bugs that Sports Interactive left in the game. So keep that in mind. The other thing you want to keep in mind too is that as far as your budget is concerned, and I mean, in this day and age, it doesn't matter what country you're in, everybody feels the crunch of inflation and the crunch of the economic times in which we live. When you're thinking about, you know, your personal budget, it's probably better for you to wait for the game to have been out for a while and wait for there to be sales rather than paying the pre-order price for the game. I know that there are places where you can get a slight discount. The discount seems to be getting smaller as every year goes by. But you will find that there are much better discounts available for you if you're willing to wait until like the final update comes out in like March or something like that, right? So you could theoretically pay less money for the game and you get a game that's stable, and then you don't spend all of your time complaining about the game, right? I mean, why, if that's the case, like, why in the world would you want to pre-order it, right? Wait until it's in a finished, ready, playable version, and then buy it, and then give it a long play, and don't just like pre-order like crazy and be like, I gotta have the newest this, I gotta have the newest that. Instead, be patient and wait. All right. Now, I know that, you know, on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff, everyone wants to talk about the newest thing, the new big thing, right? You go and talk about last year's game, you know, most people aren't going to pay any attention to you. And that's just sort of the way that it is. I mean, look at this video, right? The announcement was a couple days ago that this was happening. And here I am only covering it, you know, after a certain amount of time has gone past. I get it. I understand it, right? We want to be on top of everything, on top of the news and stuff like that. But to be honest, be patient. Just wait. It'll be okay. In fact, it'll be better for you and you'll be happier if you wait. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.